Hi lovies, and welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Belinda's channel. Don't forget to please subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications so that anytime I upload a video, you will be the first person to be notified. And to my returning subscribers, to those people that share my videos, leave commentaries, and also educate each and every one of us, you guys are the real MVP. Alright lovelies, let's dive into this video.
I came across this video on my For You page on TikTok, and of course I thought to share with you guys where pan-colored people are actually out to do this hear me out thing, which they call out all of their variances on what they ought to do and ought not to do. And I thought I could just share it here, and we all could leave our commentaries of what we thought. I'm just going to roll the clip as well as some of other stitches I was able to put together. Please leave me and let's dive into it.
My name's Melissa, and this is my white... Hi, my name's Melissa, and this is my White Women Hear Me Out cake. White women, hear me out. Calling a black woman girl without established rapport is racist. Okay, now white women, hear me out. Hear me out. Not all braids are for us. Okay? Now, I know what you're going to say, but hear me out. You do not have an inner black woman. Okay, good. Hear me out. Hear me out. Sometimes we just need to shh. I know what you're gonna say. But black women know more about us white women than we do. I'm just right there. I know this one's gonna be hard, but it's we are white before we're women. I'm gonna put that one in right there. See, I made these different sizes so that you could see them all. Okay, white, hear me out. Just hear me out. Accountability is not an attack. I'm just gonna put that in right there. And this is a quote from a friend of mine, but I'm just gonna go ahead and put it right here. It's that discomfort is not danger. It's not danger. Now, this may not be specific to white women, but it's white women. Hear me out. It is okay to be wrong. I think this one's going to be the most important right here, and it's we don't need to come together. White women need to show up. We need to show. I'm just going to put that right there so we can all see it. So what do you think? Are you gonna hear me out? It's a really good cake. Hi.
White people, hear me out. Hear me out. White people, hear me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. Just hear me out a little bit. Hear me out. While you're there, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. There we go. Oh, instead, hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Hear me out. Yeah, that's the one. This one's gonna upset some people, but hear me out, white people. Hear me out with that one though. Hear me out. Yeah, there you go. I mean, hear me out on top of that one. Hear me out, hear me out, hear me out, hear me out. There you go. There you go. Are you hearing me out yet? Did you hear me out at all? If you'd stayed this far, I have one last one. Hear me out, 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 hear me out.
Not all braids are for us.
I don't know who you think you are, but let's get one thing straightened out here. The braids that you're talking about are called the Dutch braids. Dutch braid. Guess where that's from? It's not from Africa. No, not at all. It's from the Danes. The Vikings. My ancestors. And cornrows, and that's also considered a Dutch braid. Yeah. Dreadlocks were a big thing with the men and the warriors in Daneland with the Danes. Not Daneland, but that's what they called it back then. The Northmen the Celtics, the Irish, when they were still running around in kilts and shit like that, yeah. Dreadlocks and the Dutch braid, because they were warriors. And in Africa, they shaved their head. Not all the way, well, all the way to the scalp. They left some hair, but they kept it, always keep it tight to the scalp back then, because it's at the equator. And they have all kinds of issues there, whether it be with bot flies or with heat or with, you know, all kinds of shit. So they kept their hair short back then, because it was just easier to take care of, and they had shit to do, and hairstyles weren't a thing back then, not even with their royalty. When they had kings and queens and were selling their own people into the Pacific, the slave trade. Look, you have no right to fix your mouth to tell anyone something is racist. Because apparently you're the one that is racist, and you're projecting your racist beliefs onto other people so that you can look like the righteous ranger. I'm gonna save you, black people. Black people don't need your fucking help. They don't need you speaking for them. They are quite capable of speaking for themselves. And I've called many a black woman girl when I'm talking to them and we're joking around. See, it's all in how you say it. If you finna fight this female and you say, girl, let's go, that's still not racist. That's, let's get it on. Calling someone girl is not racist. Fucking idiot. Stop gatekeeping words that you have no idea how to use properly. Calling someone, I've had black girls call me girl, and I'm like 20, 30 years their senior. Stop making words and saying, oh, those words are racist. No, they're not. You're the racist, because all you think about is race. All you think about is the color of somebody's skin. Nobody else is walking around offended on behalf of you. So why are you walking around acting offended for others? Who the fuck is you? You ain't shit. So get your little cake, go sit the fuck down and mind your business. Black people don't need white liberal women speaking on their behalf. They have lips, they have mouths, and they have a voice. And they are quite capable of using all of those things. And when they need to, these two. I'm saying. So mind your fucking business. Stop trying to act like the liberal white girl savior of the black community, the righteous ranger of words, because you don't have a fucking clue. Not a fucking clue. Even the word ratchet is not racist, because I have been called ratchet. Because at the time I was acting ratchet. I was acting ghetto as fuck. Like right about now. When I'm telling you to mind your fucking business and stay out of grown folks' business. Other people don't need your help. They don't need you. I know you wanted to virtue signal. Look at how woke I am. Look at how I'm going to save the black community because they're so oppressed by white people that they can't speak on their own behalf. Their voices are muffled and muddled, and if they speak up, white people are going to beat them down. That's a fucking lie from the pits of hell. I've never seen a white person beat down any black person just because she said what she said. Unless it was mutual combat and they were both wolfing at each other, and then that's a different story. Then that's not even a race thing, that's just a fuck around and find out thing. Just saying. But you don't get to speak on what others can say. That's not your fucking place. It's not even my place to tell white women that projecting your racism onto other white people so you can virtue signal. No, that is my place. Because you're being a racist, and I have full authority to tell you what that is. See, when you take words and gatekeep them and call them racist, really what you're doing is you're saying, you're racist, and these are why you don't use these words, because you're trying to hide your racism, and by projecting it onto other people, you're rescue rangering it, and look at me, aren't I wonderful? Attention seeking. You're an attention whore. Oh, wow, that was easy to figure out. Get therapy. Really, get therapy. And mind your fucking business. No one asked for your 2 cents. And no one needs other people saying, because you say this word, you're a racist. If the black people thought it was racist, they would say, hey, white people, if you call me a girl, I'm going to thump a hole in your fucking head because what you said was racist. And then the point, I would step up and say, how is calling you girl or whatever racist? Because this makes no sense to me. It sounds like you're being hypersensitive and looking for attention. Like you want people to create stitches and duets to you. Yeah, go girl, get those white bitches. Ain't nobody saying that to you. Not even the black girls are saying that to you. They're sitting back laughing. Look at this stupid bitch. She really thinks she said something. Does she really not know that our cornrows and our braids are actually Dutch braids and not African braids? Did she not know that? What a stupid bitch. Stupid white liberal. Thinks she doing the rescue ranger shit. Yeah, fuck that bitch. Look it up. You don't believe me? Look it up. Look that shit up. When you live close to the equator, and it's like right over across your continent, long hair is not a thing for you. The shorter the better, because you sweat a lot. And yeah, you ain't got time when you're out foraging and fighting lions. You ain't got time for long hair. You want nothing getting you caught up when you're trying to run for your fucking life from a hyena chasing your ass through the plains. Just saying.
Hi all, Old Lady Trucker here. So, I picked this creator's video because I liked his initial concept, okay? This white man creator, I love his TikTok. He is always making videos about how he is trying to deconstruct on the white supremacy and the things that he learned growing up as a white man. Always. I've never seen him done anything wrong. He did an apology video a couple of months ago, and I didn't see the point, because you can't expect white people trying to deconstruct from white supremacy to always get it right. Sometimes they're gonna fuck up. He immediately came out and apologized, but you have to understand that they're deconstructing from years of white supremacy and what they were taught and stuff like that. And you know, I always see the videos of little kids, like a black kid. There's this one video I saw a couple of months ago, and it was a little black kid and a little white kid. And the white kid had moved away, and they were best friends. And the moms had talked, and they got together, and they met somewhere where their kids could get together. And the little white kid and the little black kid, they saw each other. They were so happy, and they ran and hugged. And all the comments like, "This is how it should be. This is how it should be." And this is why I say, do you know why little kids are like that? If you don't teach your kids to, and because let me tell you something, kids know. I'll never forget when I grew up in Denver, Aurora, Colorado, mainly. I'll never forget. I think I was like 4 or 5 years old, and we were in the grocery store one night, and this little white kid said, "Look, mommy, chocolate people." Okay, kids very much so they can tell the difference between colors. Okay, but the rhetoric against colors comes from what they're taught. And you can go back and watch my videos, and I have said this repeatedly. All of that bullshit talk where people say, "I don't see color. I was raised not to see color," blah, blah, that's bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. Because the comment that I left on his thing where he's using a chocolate cupcake with chocolate buttercream frosting, and the very first little flag thing that he sticks in is, and he's saying, white people, just listen to me. He sticks in a little thing and it says, "White people, I don't see color." I said, what would have made this more effective and more poignant is if you had had a chocolate cupcake with chocolate buttercream frosting and a vanilla cupcake with vanilla buttercream frosting. And you had stuck that "I don't see color" thing in there. Because you very well much so know, when you go up to a bakery case, you know that the brown cupcake with the brown frosting is chocolate. And you know that the white cupcake with the white buttercream frosting is vanilla. So all that bullshit you're talking about, you don't see color, it's bullshit. Because if you are ignoring the fabulousness of my caramel colored skin, you're full of shit. I have to recognize that you are a white person, because what I have to do is protect myself. Because all people who say they're allies are not allies. Let's use Mama Tot as an example. Mama Tot very much so has a husband who is a Trump supporter, and she very much so has a father-in-law who has said the N-word and talked shit about immigrants and everything like that. And Mama Tot is one of those people, like a lot of white people are, to maintain their their family relationships. And friendships, they will ignore what other white people say. Those N-words, blah, 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 and they'll laugh and giggle and stuff like that. But the kind of white friends that I want, and this is why I say what I say a lot of times, the kind of white friends that I want, like my best friend from high school, I want the kind of white friends who will be around their friends and family, and when they make those little jokes about immigrants or the LGBTQIA people and black people and people of color and stuff like that, I want the kind of white friends, even around their friends and family, who will say, shut the fuck up. Don't you dare say that shit around me. Like what they do when you're not there, okay, because they're like, oh my God, Mama Tot's coming. We don't want to talk shit around her because she's going to throw a fit, blah, blah. That's the Mama Tot that she should be, and I very well so much know that Mama Tot does not talk shit to her father-in-law or her husband or anyone else in her family that talks shit about people of color and stuff like that. Does not. Here, I have to tell you a story. Here's a story. So when I lived in Florida, I was in Walmart one day, okay? I'm in line, and this black woman is going off in front of the register. She is going off. I don't know what happened or whatever. And the manager is a white man, and he's standing there, and ma'am, I'm so sorry, and she called him a cracker. I immediately went up to her and said, don't do that. Don't do that. Because if he called you the N-word or something like that, you'd be trying to sue this store. Don't do that. Who the fuck are you? Blah, blah, blah. And I was like, bitch, what? But this is what I'm saying. Don't do that. If you don't want it done to you, don't do it to other people. That's my point. You cannot sit up here and all these comments from white people where I say, I don't see color. My parents taught me not to see color. You're full of shit. You absolutely do. Because when you go to that bakery case, you know that brown cupcake with the brown frosting is chocolate. And you know that white cupcake with the white frosting is vanilla. So there's no way in hell that you can tell me that you don't see color, because even kids see color. But the thing is with kids, they just know them as a person. They may make a little comment or something about the color, but until you implant or indoctrinate them to feel some way about the color, they don't know that shit. They don't know it. Parents, society, they implant the shit about what color someone is. They implant the stereotypes and shit like that. Media and politicians and stuff like that. They implant, just like Ronald Reagan saying ghetto queens. He very much so meant black women. And that's why black women have this ghetto queen thing in their repertoire. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. And it still persists to this day. Don't tell me you don't see my color. Don't tell me that. Because what you should do is look at me and say, that's a black woman. I like her or you don't. I don't give a fuck if you don't like me. I give no fucks. But you should absolutely see what color I am. And choose your basis, even though, because this is what I'm saying. Because of ingrained white supremacy practices, you're going to see what color I am, even if you want to be my friend, and you're going to think racist stereotypes against me, because that's what's been pushed. I'm just over it. I'm just over it at this point. I would love for everybody to get along. I would love for us to unite together against the government that really doesn't give a fuck about us. But it's never going to happen, because you are still going to have those people that are racist and think less of anyone else that is not a white Christian conservative Republican. You're just not. It's just not going to happen. And this is what I'm saying. Instead of coming on black creators and people of colors creators and the LGBTQIA creators, instead of telling us what we need to do, go to your white friends and your white family and talk to them. Because that's where the work is really going to start. Oh, and bless.
So lovely. You could just, purse read the comments. I was just able to put up here. So there's this trend which have been going, all over the platform. They call it, white women or white people hear me out. Where some group of, fan-colored people comes out to talk and try to educate their own and try to see things from the perspectives of people that looks like me. And this first lady, which I actually stitched her video, went all out to, talk about things, share things, like telling them what they need to know. And I like the fact that, she said something about coming together. It's not all about coming together, but white women should show up. And that really reminds me of a particular video that I staged about a pan-colored woman calling on, black women to come together, so as to vote for a particular person, so as to, do things that will actually favor every person's, not only them and all of that. And that video really got a lot of stitches because she was like, she and every other pan-colored women are not the reasons that I don't know the reason why there was anything like slavery. Like they never got involved during slavery. That it was actually their men that got themselves involved. So they should actually see them as people who were not in support. Meanwhile, the history didn't say that. But why I'm even bringing up this is the issue of this, coming together. Oftentimes, some pan-colored, women, especially those anti-racist type of women, who often come out in a pose of speaking for people that looks like me, or in a pose of trying to stand up or stand for people that looks like me. Sometimes they even have platforms where they're like, but the thing is that when these people that looks like me, who happens to be, black people or brown people, chocolate people, when they actually need this advocacy, help, and all of that, and this set of, saviors that is all about standing for people that looks like me, this is when you wouldn't see them showing up. Like they won't use their voices, to talk about all of the atrocities or to even create a way for, justice to be served and all of that. Let me use, for instance, this incident that happened between an 18-year teenager with like about 4 to 5 grown-up men. So a lot of people actually stitched the video, called out their reactions, even called out other one that happened in school. And sometimes I used to follow most of these pan-colored women that is all about anti-racism, talking about history and how black people this and that. I don't see them like coming out to also talk about things like that. Like it's as if anytime that there is a need for them to show up or need for them to talk, they withdraw back. That's why when she talked about it's not all about coming together, it's to show up, I was like, I think she made a point there. She made a point there. And another thing I also want to chip in is the fact that she talked about how braids, not all braids are for, white women. And a lady staged the video talking about all of the box braid, all of the braids are from Vikings. That it has nothing to do with maybe black people or African, but I have come across a stitch or a video in the quest of trying to research and see know more about historical fact. And there is a particular lady, she's actually a black lady, that talked about this braid and its origins and all of that, especially cotton rolls. She was like, during the time of slavery, that this cornrows and all of that, that a lot of enslaved people use that method, because everybody has, black people has natural hair. So she was like, so many of them, because they don't have the ability to take care of their hairs and all of that, so they use those cornrows to actually keep their hairs in order. A lot of them, after braiding these cornrows, it gets bad that they have to braid and braid. So sometimes some of them just have to leave their hair and allow it to get tangled and tangled. That's how we get these dreads, these locks. That's how black people are able to get the historical facts behind locks. So it's all about not being well kept, and not having the opportunity to maybe make your hair and all of that. So they just decide to leave their hair, grow it out, and it's all locked on its own, and they're just growing their hair. And another thing about the cornrows, that lady talk about how these cornrows are also a means at which these enslaved people used to hide grills like rice or beans or something, just to hide food. And now this lady that staged the other ladies video is talking about Vikings. I did that there is something, Vikings was a thing, and I think they have their own braid. But the pan-colored lady that talked about how not all braids, she didn't specify. That is one thing about these people. The other lady was like, oh, it's not black people's things, it's from Vikings and all of that. And the reason is that these people, like correct me if I'm wrong, if braids, where braids are from, be it cornrows, be it dreads and all of that, you could just share it, because I am very open to learn and educate myself, because I have seen so many stitches and the historical thing behind braids and how it came to be. A lot of people talked about how these enslaved people will be in a cargo, a ship or something, for a very long time, like for months, weeks. They have to do everything there, and that is just a form of how they kept different styles. Like there are different images that I saw. That's why I got a little bit confused when she was talking about Vikings being the inventors of this. So if you know more about this, just share in the comment section, because I just really want to highlight myself. Then another one that she talked about, which I picked up, is the fact that accountability is not because sometimes a lot of pan-colored women, we say something, they won't want to have accountable, they won't want to be held accountable of what they have said or something. And when you call them out, they see it as you're coming for them, you're attacking them, you're like, it's not that. Some of them know exactly what they're doing. They will just come up and spew things. When they're being called out, they try to play the victims. So these people know exactly what they are doing. And if it takes people like them to come out, educate them once, twice, and all of that, I think it will get there. Because in the comment section, a lot of them were just agreeing, while some people were still disagreeing. Anyway, lovelies, when I saw this video, I decided that I was just gonna, put it up here, stitch it, and try to see what you guys think about it. Wanna just leave me your own thoughts in the comment section of what you think. Subscribe to this channel if you're here to do that. Like, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.
Estelle, why not just leave me your own thought in the comment section of what you think of this video. And please do not forget that we do not support any form of bullying and harassment. We are just here for educational purposes. So please share this video, subscribe if you're yet to do that, and I will see you lovelies when I upload the next one.